nutrition is food. It is the fuel to keep you going. And there is a very big difference to our dogs surviving and thriving. And I think that when we look at nutrition, we look at our dogs surviving. What do they need to survive and be relatively healthy? But food for me, and looking at it from I suppose this is from maybe like a hippy dippy kind of side of me. Food is a completely different thing. There's like so much more to it, which we can definitely talk about because that's where I get a little bit geeky on it. And not
how do we know when we're feeding a good diet? How can we tell if our dogs are actually thriving on that diet?
okay. So when I'm looking at a dog, there's lots of factors that we could look for externally. So, we would be looking at things like, I suppose the biggest one is poo. Poo is like the biggest factor that you can be looking at on your dog and deciding, is there something going on? And that's not always going to be down to diet and so on. But, coat health, are they getting ill with things all the time? Loads of different things. Behavior is probably one of the biggest things I'll be looking at. Any of us that are working in a behavior sense, we should be looking at diet.
What sort of behaviors would those be, or that other people would keep an eye out for?
I would say one of the big ones is resource guarding. I think resource guarding stems, obviously there are various other factors for resource guarding, like genetics and things like that, but I think that diet plays a huge role in resource guarding. I think that if their gut is feeling a bit off-piste, that's one of the things that, particularly when it's food resource guarding, I think food resource guarding is one that we see an awful lot of. What is happening is down in your gut, you've got like a village of lots of different bacteria. I always like to see it as like, in my head, I imagine it like a little ant farm of all the different things doing their different jobs.
Where if the diet, and it's not always about the diet, but if the diet isn't one of good quality, yeah, then it will have a massive impact on certain behaviours and how we feel emotionally. And for a lot of people watching this, many will be dog trainers and behaviourists that sort of understand it anyway. But there'll always be people that are going to come onto the podcast and have no idea, like myself. The only research I do is about McDonald's and KFC. So my moods are never in a good place. So it's important that, the information that you're giving out just a few seconds ago is really, really good.
Really quiet in this one because I'm just sort of sitting like, oh, right, tell me more. I'm not sitting making notes where you can try bad bellies. What type of treats in general are you sort of recommending to your clients, or do you think that people should add in?
Oh God, there's loads, isn't there, now on the market? Like you look and you can get so much. I think things as well, like your jointy type thing, that sounds really grim, doesn't it? This is me being a veggie, like talking about I feed my dogs raw. Like the jointy type things and things like duck feet and stuff like that are filled with things like chondroitin, collagen, that sort of stuff. So that's really good for your dog's joints and things.